When the conditions within your aquarium are ideal, it creates the perfect environment for algae to flourish and thrive. Keeping algae at bay is essential for maintaining a healthy ecosystem. I'm going to share with you 11 of the most popular and effective algae eaters that help achieve that perfect balance, so let's dive right in. Algae may look like plants, but they're actually neither plants nor animals. Algae, for the most part, are a diverse group of aquatic microorganisms that have the ability to produce oxygen through photosynthesis. They vary from small single-cell forms to complex multicellular forms. Now, before I get into the various species that help with algae control, let's first look at a few key factors that contribute to the formation of algae in an aquarium and some measures you can take to control it. The first factor is light. Algae requires light for photosynthesis, the process that helps them grow. If an aquarium gets too much light, especially from direct sunlight or long hours from aquarium lights, it creates the perfect conditions for algae to take over. To prevent this, you can reduce the amount of time your light is on or use a timer to control when it's on. You can also move your tank away from any windows so that it does not get any direct sunlight. The second factor is nutrients. Algae requires nutrients like nitrates, phosphates, and other small elements to grow. Overfeeding your fish or not having a good filtration system can lead to an excess of these nutrients in the water, which is like a buffet for algae. To avoid this, make sure you don't overfeed your fish and maintain a good filtration system along with scheduled water changes to remove excess nutrients from the water. The third factor is water conditions. Algae prefer specific water conditions. Sometimes, the same conditions that are good for aquarium plants can also be good for algae. To keep algae in check, you need to make sure that your water in your tank has the right pH, temperature, and hardness. Good water quality and the right conditions are key to preventing algae growth. The fourth factor is water circulation. If the water in your tank doesn't move around enough, certain spots can become breeding grounds for algae. Adequate water circulation helps spread the nutrients evenly and stops areas from becoming still and encouraging algae growth. And finally, the fifth factor is tank components. Algae can feed on organic matter that collects on the bottom of your tank, on decorations, and equipment. Cleaning these things on a regular basis and taking good care of them can help keep algae at bay. On top of these preventative measures that you can take for yourself, there are certain species that you can add to your aquarium that will take care of algae on your behalf. The first 5 that I'm about to mention are ones that I currently keep in some of my tanks. The remaining 6 are ones that can be kept in larger aquariums of approximately 25 gallons or more, but I've personally never kept any. The first algae eater is the Nerite snail. These small, hardy, decorative snails are famous for their voracious appetite for algae. They come in various shell patterns and colors, making them a stylish addition to your tank. These snails won't overpopulate your tank since their eggs don't hatch in fresh water as they require brackish water to do so. The most you'll see are their eggs attached to your driftwood. Nerite snails get along very well with all kinds of shrimp as they are extremely peaceful. They are fantastic at cleaning the glass and hard surfaces. These snails tend to eat soft film algae, soft green algae, soft brown algae, brown diatoms, and are also known to eat green spot algae, which is hard to remove from rocks and plants. Second, we have the Amano shrimp. These translucent shrimp are known as the workhorse of the aquarium and are experts at devouring algae. Amanos can reach about 2.5 inches in size, are highly active, relatively peaceful, and thrive in an established planted tank of 5 gallons or more. Amano shrimp can be kept with most other shrimp and make pretty good tank mates. The one thing you have to watch out for is that they tend to steal food, especially pellets. Amano shrimp do well in groups of 6 or more as it'll help them feel safe and comfortable. The more safe they feel, the more they'll be out in the open tackling any algae they can find. They're also skilled at getting into hard to reach areas since their legs can reach into nooks and crannies that may be difficult for snails and fish. Amanos will eat brush algae, most types of string algae, and are one of the rare ones that will even eat hair algae and black beard algae, but only if you don't feed them too much. The third algae eater is the peaceful autosynclus catfish. These nanofish can grow up to 2 inches in size and are relatively shy. They can be kept in a 10-gallon tank, but a 20-gallon tank or higher is recommended as they should be kept in groups of 6 or more. Autos make excellent tank mates for shrimp due to the fact they are herbivores and you don't have to worry about them going after newly hatched baby shrimp. These fish have mouths that are ideal for eating algae off flat surfaces. Most of the time you'll find them on your glass, tank decor, and other smooth surfaces grazing on algae. These fish specialize in eating softer algae like soft green algae and brown diatoms and tend to avoid the harder types like blackbeard or green spot algae. If you'd like to learn more about autosynclus catfish, check out the following video in the top right corner. Fourth, we have hillstream loaches. These cool looking oddball fish look like miniature stingrays and get to about 2.5 to 3 inches in size. Hillstream loaches are extremely peaceful and do well with shrimp and other non-aggressive fish. These fish are highly active, and so a tank of about 20 gallons or higher is required with lots of plants, smooth rocks, driftwood, and a sandy substrate. They can be kept by themselves or in groups of 3 or more to avoid bullying over food or territory. Having a moderate to high flow in their tank is recommended, as these fish need highly oxygenated water. Hillstream loaches are similar to autocinkless catfish in the sense that they have their mouths on the underside of their body. They also love eating off flat surfaces like the aquarium glass, rocks, and broad plant leaves. This includes soft diatom algae, hair algae, and even blackbeard algae at times. Fifth, we have the vibrant Neocaridina shrimp, like red cherry shrimp, orange pumpkin shrimp, blue velvet shrimp, and so on. These shrimp are small in size, which can range from 3/4 of an inch to about an inch. They can be kept in small tanks, but 5 gallons or more is preferred. These shrimp thrive in planted tanks with lots of driftwood and stones, or in a tank with java moss or moss of a similar nature. Due to the fact they breed easily, a decent-sized colony of these shrimp can provide excellent preventative maintenance against the buildup of excess algae. Their tiny limbs are perfect for picking through the substrate, plant roots, and other tiny crevices that snails and fish cannot reach. They're not as efficient as Amano shrimp, but they're happy to consume soft green algae and soft brown algae. If you'd like to learn more about Neocaridina shrimp, check out the following video in the top right corner. Number 6 is the Siamese Algae Eater, which looks somewhat similar to the autocinkless catfish, but is on the larger side of about 7 inches in size. However, these fish do get sometimes confused with the aggressive Chinese Algae Eater, which primarily eats algae as a juvenile, but as it becomes an adult, it tends to eat less algae and prefers a more protein-based diet. Siamese Algae Eaters don't really get along with dwarf shrimp, like red cherry shrimp, but can be kept with larger ones like Amano shrimp, bamboo shrimp, and vampire shrimp. When it comes to algae, these fish prefer eating hair algae and blackbeard algae. Number 7 is the Florida flagfish, which is a relatively small, robust fish that gets to about 2.5 inches in size. These fish are compatible with other peaceful fish and larger shrimp. However, dwarf shrimp like red cherry shrimp could potentially become prey. Florida flagfish tend to eat hair algae, blackbeard algae, and other fuzzy types of algae. Number 8 is the Bristlenose Plecos, which is one of the smallest catfish, growing to only 5 inches in size. They're docile fish that do well with other peaceful tank mates. If you plan on keeping multiple plecos together, ensure your tank is large enough, as males can get a bit territorial. Bristlenose Plecos are great for keeping algae at bay. Their mouths are on the underside of their bodies, similar to hillstream loaches and autocinkless catfish. This makes it great when consuming algae from the substrate or when they cling onto surfaces like the aquarium glass and various tank decor. Bristlenose Plecos seem to be good at eating almost any type of algae, but keep in mind that they do produce a lot of waste. Number 9 are mollies, which are one of the most popular aquarium fish found at pet stores. They're energetic, colorful, and are also life bearers. These fish breed easily, so if you're not looking for babies, keep an all-male or an all-female tank. Mollies get up to 4 or 5 inches in size and are surprisingly good at cleaning aquariums. You'll see them constantly scavenging for leftover food and algae. Mollies are known to eat brown diatom algae and also hair algae, which you'll see them pulling off the tank decor with their flat mouths. Number 10 is the Pandagara, which looks so adorable they can definitely take the number 1 spot on anyone's fish list. They're active, playful, inquisitive, and peaceful fish. Despite their appearance, these fish are not loaches or catfish. Their species is more related to minnows and carps. Pandagaras can get up to about 3 inches in size and require fast-flowing, highly oxygenated water. They can be kept with dwarf shrimp, but it may be stressful for the shrimp as these fish are highly active. Pandagaras seem to be good as a solo fish, but if you plan on keeping a group, go with about 4 to 6 as they can be more aggressive towards each other if there's only 2 or 3 of them. Also, ensure your tank is large enough to support them. Although Pandagaras are omnivores, they will eat green dust algae, green spot algae, brown algae, and there have been reports of them even eating blackbeard algae. Keep in mind that these fish also feed on biofilm and so can compete with the shrimp when it comes to this food source. The 11th and final algae eater is the rosy barb. These hardy fish are a staple in stores around the world, can add a pop of color to your tank, and are perfect for new and experienced aquarists alike. They should be kept in groups of at least 6 or more. Rosy barbs are peaceful, non-aggressive, and can grow to about 6 inches in size. Due to the fact that these fish get pretty large, they should not be kept with dwarf shrimp like red cherry shrimp as they may prey on them. However, they can be kept with larger shrimp like Amano shrimp, bamboo shrimp, and vampire shrimp. Rosy barbs specialize in eating hair algae, staghorn algae, and thread algae. Maintaining a balanced environment in your aquarium is essential for preventing or controlling the growth of algae. These 11 algae-eating species are fantastic and can be helpful in keeping algae in check, but don't rely on them to only feed on algae. It's important that you also feed them properly to ensure they stay happy and healthy. As always, research the compatibility of these species with your tank size, current inhabitants, and the type of algae issues you're facing. I'm sure there are plenty of other species out there that will gladly feast on algae, and if you know of any, let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing. Stay tuned for more of my upcoming content, but in the meantime, check out any of the following videos. I'm Andy, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.